My first question is, have any of your friends come to you and said, I don't know what to do, I'm freaked out? Are you hearing from people that they are freaked out by the Trump camps or by any other part of Donald Trump's behavior, by his raping women, by his being a con man, by the I mean, look at the Trump University. I mean, this is pretty mind-boggling. Trump University, he had to pay a $25 million fine for fraud. The guy's a convicted grifter, a convicted fraudster. People convicted of fraud, that's, literally we call them grifters. They're hustlers. This is the president of the United States. Well, he's at least the guy sitting in the White House. He lost by 3 million votes, as we all know. But have you had friends confide to you that they're having a problem with this? Are you hearing from people that they're in crisis? Give us a call, 202-808-9925. I just find this whole thing just astonishing that Donald Trump is so far getting away with all this. And, what can we do? Well, obviously we need to vote him out. Obviously we need, the 80th Democrat now has called for, what do you call it? An impeachment hearing. Not impeachment, but impeachment hearing. They're two different things. So we now have the 80th Democrat saying, yeah, let's have an impeachment hearing. It seems to me like all 200 and whatever it is, 218 or whatever, however many Democrat, 220 I think we have in the House of Representatives, it seems to me like all of them should be calling for impeachment hearings. Shouldn't they? I mean, how do you get this guy out of office? I mean, he is doing, we are like literally on the edge of World War III. It's mind-boggling. Deb in Saginaw, Michigan. Hey, Deb, what's on your mind today?
Hi, Tom. I just wanted to make a comment about when you were talking about, the how Americans are feeling like with the, like mental disabilities or depression or anxiety going on in America.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
I recently watched a movie that I don't know if you're familiar with. It's called Side Effects. And there was a quote in the movie, and I'd like to share it with you and your listeners and see what you guys think about this. But the quote is, depression is the inability to construct a future.
Oh, wow.
And I think that that's what's going... Go ahead.
Let me explain something about that to you. This is something that I learned in my training as an NLP practitioner and trainer. Most people, if you ask them, just ask them, say, where is your future? And literally point to it. And they will point in front of themselves. Typically, they'll point in front of themselves. Some people will point up and to the right. Some people will point up and to the left. Occasionally, you'll get people who will point to the sides and things. But the few people, and I've been through this exercise with probably 100 people, the few people who say, I don't see a future, are always the people who are depressed. I was just talking to a listener, Deb, who was saying that depression is the inability to construct a future. And I was telling her the story that in my NLP training, there's this thing called timelines. And in fact, Louise is an expert at this. When she was a coach for business people with ADHD and family crises and things, she used to work with this all the time. And that is that if you ask a person, and you can just do this exercise yourself, where is your future? And most people point out in front of them and themselves. And then you say, where is your past? And most people point behind themselves. And some people have their future like off to the side. I actually had one person in a class one time, I have everybody in the class do this, who said that his future was behind him. And I said, well, just grab a hold of it and move it around in front of you. And all of a sudden his face just lit up and he was like, whoa, I see my future now. And some people have told me that their past is instead of being behind them, it's in front of them. They can see their past continuously. And those people tend to be filled with anxiety, or actually typically filled with regret or shame. And for them, you say, well, take that past that's in front of you and just swing it around behind you and just leave it back there. And you can literally do this. I mean, sometimes you have to do the exercise 4 or 5 times for it to stick. But she said, you know, the depression is the inability to construct a future. And the few people that I have personally done this, you know, I used to teach classes on this stuff, you know, and you get 100 people in a room and everybody's doing it and you're having people share their experiences. The few people who would say, I can't see my future. I have no idea where my future is, I can't see it. You dig a little bit deeper, you almost always find that they are actually clinically depressed. They're experiencing depression and typically have for much of their lives. They never learned how to put a future in front of themselves. And there's a way to do that. You just, you know, and there's, in fact, Google timeline therapy, NLP, and you'll find all the methods and techniques. But that was brilliant. That was just so brilliant.